All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into Exelixis' third quarter 2024 earnings call.
Yep. Digging into the transcript here, along with the stock performance and some recent news articles.
Yeah, it's like a lot to unpack, but that's what we do.
That's right, cutting through the noise.
Trying to see what it all means.
For Exelixis' future.
Exactly. And just to set the stage a little bit.
Sure.
This is an oncology-focused biopharma company.
Yeah, so we know the stakes are high here.
Very high.
For investors and especially for the patients.
Absolutely. And the first thing that jumps out is their performance this quarter.
Oh, yeah.
They beat expectations on both earnings and revenue.
Yeah, that's usually a good sign, right?
Usually it is, but as always.
Gotta dig deeper.
Yeah, the devil's in the details.
Exactly. One good quarter doesn't tell the whole story.
Right. We need to see what's actually driving these results.
And are they sustainable?
Yeah. Are we going to see this again?
Right. And that brings us to Cabometyx, their flagship drug.
Right.
It's been a real success story for them.
In the treatment of renal cell carcinoma.
Or RCC, as it's often called.
For those who are familiar, RCC is a type of kidney cancer.
Right.
And Cabometyx, it's become the go-to treatment for a lot of patients.
Yeah, a real mainstay in that space.
But there was some concern, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
About generic competition.
Looming.
Right.
Patents expire eventually.
Sure.
And that opens the door for generic versions of the drug to hit the market.
Right.
And that can really impact revenue.
Significantly.
Yeah, Exelixis was facing that possibility with Cabometyx.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They just won a major legal battle.
Oh, wow.
That basically blocks those generics from coming to market until early 2030.
That is huge.
It is a big win for them.
So that gives them a much longer period of exclusivity.
Yeah, they can keep generating revenue from Cabometyx for a good while longer than people expected.
And that revenue is crucial for them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For their R&D efforts.
Yeah, developing new drugs is incredibly expensive and risky.
So this is a big financial cushion for them.
Right. It gives them more breathing room to invest in their pipeline.
And speaking of pipeline.
Ah, yes.
They've got this other drug that's showing a lot of promise.
Zanzalantinib.
Zanzalantinib.
Quite a mouthful.
Can we just call it Zanza for short?
Zanza it is.
Much easier.
And it's not just a potential successor to Cabometyx.
Okay.
It's being explored for a much wider range of cancers.
Interesting.
They've got 6 pivotal trials already underway.
6? That's ambitious.
It is.
What kinds of cancers are we talking about?
We're talking major cancers like colon cancer, kidney cancer, head and neck cancer, and neuroendocrine tumors.
Wow. So they're not shying away from the big challenges.
Not at all. They're going right for it.
They must be seeing some pretty encouraging early results.
The early data is very promising.
To justify that level of investment.
Yeah. 6 pivotal trials. That's a serious commitment of resources.
So what's so special about Zanza?
Well, it targets a particular pathway involved in cell growth and division. And this pathway, it's often disrupted in cancer cells.
So Zanza kind of throws a wrench in the machinery.
Exactly. It disrupts the processes that drive tumor development.
I like that analogy.
And the early data suggests it's really effective.
At blocking this pathway.
Yeah, leading to tumor shrinkage.
And improve survival in some cases.
Exactly.
So it's not just hitting those cancer cells hard, it's about hitting them smart.
Precisely.
And what's really exciting is that they're studying Zanza in combination with other therapies.
That's right.
That's becoming more and more common in oncology these days, right?
Yeah, it's a growing trend instead of just relying on one drug.
Researchers are looking at ways to combine different treatments.
Attack the cancer from multiple angles.
Like a 1-2 punch.
More like a multi-pronged assault.
Even better.
And Exelixis seems to be right at the forefront of this approach with Zanza.
So it's not just a new drug in a vacuum.
No, it's part of a bigger strategy.
To really advance how we treat cancer.
That's right.
It all sounds promising, but I know there's still a long way to go.
Of course, drug development is a marathon, not a sprint.
It takes time, and there's no guarantee of success.
Absolutely.
But Exelixis is taking a calculated approach here.
They are.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
They've got Cabometyx generating revenue.
Right.
They've got Zanza advancing through trials.
Okay.
And they've got a pipeline of other potential therapies.
At various stages of development.
Exactly.
So they're building a pretty solid foundation, it sounds like.
They are, and they're being strategic about it.
Okay, how so?
We'll take their recent partnership with Merck, for example.
Oh, yeah, the global pharmaceutical giant.
That's the one.
To co-develop Zanza.
Exactly.
It's a pretty big deal, right?
It's huge. It's a major validation of Zanza's potential.
I see what you mean.
And it gives Exelixis access to Merck's vast resources and expertise.
That's a powerful combination.
It is. It's like they've got a seasoned guide.
Leading them through the jungle of drug development.
Exactly. A jungle it can be.
You're not kidding.
Full of pitfalls and unexpected challenges.
In Merck, they've been there before.
Many times.
They know the terrain.
They do. And that experience is invaluable.
So this partnership is a win-win, it sounds like.
I think so.
Merck gets access to a promising new drug.
Right.
And Exelixis gets the support they need.
To maximize its potential.
Yeah. To really make Zanza a success.
Exactly.
So they're not just going it alone.
Nope. They're leveraging the strengths of a major player.
Smart move.
It is. It shows they're serious.
About bringing Zanza to patients.
As quickly and effectively as possible.
Absolutely. So let's recap here.
Sure.
We've got a blockbuster drug in Cabometyx with extended exclusivity thanks to that legal win.
Right.
We've got a potential successor in Zanza.
With massive market opportunity.
And they're not slowing down on R&D.
They're keeping the foot on the gas.
Fuel innovation even further.
They're not resting on their laurels.
This is all very impressive.
It is a lot to be excited about.
But we're just scratching the surface here.
We are.
What else is going on in their early stage pipeline?
Ah, yes. They hinted at some really intriguing stuff.
Like what?
We'll delve into those details right after this. So those 6 pivotal trials for Zanza.
Yeah, what's the deal with those?
Well, each one's targeting a specific type of cancer.
Okay.
Addressing these big unmet medical needs.
Yeah.
We're talking colon cancer, kidney cancer, head and neck cancer, and neuroendocrine tumors.
Wow, those are some heavy hitters.
They are major challenges in oncology.
And it sounds like Exelixis isn't shying away from them.
Not at all. They're going right after them.
So it's not just the number of trials.
Right.
It's the types of cancers they're targeting.
Exactly. These are some of the most common and difficult to treat cancers out there.
What kind of early results are they seeing with Zanza for these?
The early data is very encouraging.
In what way?
Well, remember how we talked about Zanza targeting that specific pathway?
The one involved in cell growth and division?
Yeah, that one. Well, that pathway is often disrupted in these types of cancers, which makes them particularly vulnerable to how Zanza works.
Ah, so it's like they found a chink in the armor of these cancer cells.
Exactly, a weakness they can exploit.
I like that analogy.
And they're not just looking at Zanza by itself either.
What do you mean?
They're also exploring it in combination with other therapies.
Okay.
That's a really important point because combination therapies are becoming more and more common in cancer treatment these days.
So instead of using one drug to fight the cancer,
Right.
they're using multiple drugs,
Working together.
hitting the cancer cells from different angles,
That's the idea.
like a team of specialists.
Yeah, I like that analogy. Each drug brings its own strengths to the table.
So you've got different mechanisms of action working together.
Exactly. Potentially leading to better outcomes.
And that's where the partnership with Merck really comes into play, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Merck has that expertise in drug development and that huge clinical trial network.
Right. They can really accelerate things.
Especially for these combination therapy trials.
For sure, Merck's involvement is a major boost for Exelixis.
Not just financially, but
also in terms of knowledge and experience.
Merck's got a pretty good track record, right?
They do. They've brought a lot of successful cancer treatments to market.
So they know what they're doing.
Their insights can be invaluable for
It
Exelixis.
seems like a really smart move on Exelixis' part.
They're not just focused on developing drugs in isolation.
Right.
They're actively looking for collaborations to speed things up.
And increase their chances of success.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got Zanza making waves in those pivotal trials.
Right.
We've got the Merck partnership helping to move things along.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about their existing blockbuster Cabometyx.
Of course not.
How are they making the most of that while they wait for Zanza?
Well, that's where that recent legal victory really comes into play.
Blocking those generics.
Until 2030.
It gives them a much longer runway to generate revenue from Cabometyx.
Exactly. And that revenue can be plowed right back into developing Zanza and those other pipeline drugs.
It's like a virtuous cycle. The success of one drug fuels the development of the next.
It is. It's a smart strategy, especially in a field as competitive and expensive as drug development.
And it's not like they're just sitting on their hands with Cabometyx.
No, they're actively exploring new uses for it.
Like what?
Well, they recently completed a study called Cabometyx.
Cabinet.
Yeah, it evaluated Cabometyx in patients with neuroendocrine tumors, and the
Wow.
results were very positive.
Interesting neuroendocrine tumors.
Yeah, that's one of the cancer types that Zanza is being studied for as well.
Oh, right, I forgot.
So you see, they're leveraging their expertise in certain cancer types across their whole portfolio.
They're not just randomly going after things.
No, it's a much more focused and integrated approach.
This is all making a lot more sense now.
Good, I'm glad.
They've got this multi-pronged attack on cancer,
I like that description.
with Cabometyx leading the charge in some areas, and Zanza poised to expand their reach even further.
It's a powerful combination.
And they're doing all of this while staying financially disciplined. Yes.
That's crucial.
And building those strategic partnerships.
Absolutely. Those are key ingredients for success in this industry.
It really does create a compelling narrative for their future
It does. They're a company with a vision.
and the ability to execute on that vision,
They seem to be genuinely driven to make a difference in the lives of patients.
which is always good to see.
It is. It's inspiring.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Zanza and Cabometyx,
Right, the stars of the show.
but they also mentioned some earlier stage research that caught my attention.
Oh, yes.
They called it synthetic lethality.
Intriguing stuff.
What exactly is that?
Well, that takes us to a whole other level of cutting-edge cancer research.
Yeah, I'm all ears. So we've been talking about Exelixis's impressive portfolio, their current blockbuster, their potential successor, and their strategic partnership.
Right.
But it's their early stage research that really captures the imagination.
Oh, yeah. That's where things get really interesting.
This synthetic lethality concept, it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It does have a kind of futuristic ring to it, doesn't it?
It does.
But the science behind it is very real, and Exelixis is at the forefront of this emerging field.
Okay, remind me again how it works.
So remember, it's about exploiting specific vulnerabilities in cancer cells
Right.
that healthy cells don't have.
Okay.
It's like finding a hidden weakness in an enemy's fortress.
And launching a targeted attack.
Exactly. You hit them where it hurts.
I like that analogy.
And they have 2 drugs in development based on this approach.
XL309 and XL495.
That's right, each targeting a different vulnerability.
So it's like having multiple weapons in your arsenal,
Exactly.
each designed to take down the enemy in a different way.
Precisely. And that's what makes this approach so promising.
It could really revolutionize cancer treatment.
It could imagine a future where we can treat cancer with minimal side effects.
Wow, that would be incredible.
It would no more chemo, no more debilitating side effects.
Patients could live relatively normal lives while undergoing treatment.
Exactly, that's the goal.
And it's not just a pipe dream.
No, Exelixis is already testing these drugs in clinical trials
Well, they're gathering data.
and moving closer to making that vision a reality.
That's exciting. And what about those antibody-drug conjugates?
ADCs.
Yeah, those are like guided missiles, right?
That's a good way to think about it. They deliver a potent toxin directly to the cancer cells.
So they combine the targeting ability of antibodies with the cell-killing power of cytotoxic drugs.
Exactly, a powerful 1-2 punch.
And Exelixis has one of these in their pipeline,
They do. It's called XB010.
XB010.
And it's showing some real promise in preclinical studies.
Has it entered clinical trials yet?
It has just recently.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket,
No, they're diversifying their research efforts.
exploring multiple avenues to develop breakthrough treatments.
That's a smart approach in this field. You never know what's going to work.
They're not afraid to take risks, it seems,
Not at all. They're pushing the boundaries of scientific innovation.
while always keeping patients in mind.
Absolutely. Their commitment to developing safe and well-tolerated therapies is clear.
It's really inspiring to see a company so dedicated to advancing oncology.
It is. They're making a real difference.
And they're not just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts.
Right. They're also a savvy business
Making smart decisions.
that position them for long-term growth.
Like that partnership with Merck.
Exactly. That was a brilliant move.
Not only does it validate their science,
But it gives them the resources and expertise they need to succeed.
to navigate the complexities of drug development and commercialization.
Exactly. It's a win-win for both companies.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Exelixis, what's the main takeaway for our listeners?
I think the key takeaway is this Exelixis is a company to watch.
They're not just riding the wave of their current success with Cabometyx.
They're actively building a future in oncology.
With a diverse portfolio of promising therapies, strategic partnerships, and a commitment to innovation.
They're not just treating cancer, they're changing the game.
Well said. Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive.
It was my pleasure. I always enjoy these conversations.
And to our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive informative and insightful.
As always, we encourage you to do your own research.
And stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll be exploring another fascinating company pushing the boundaries of healthcare innovation.